Hello and welcome back to another Bad Movie Reviews review hosted by your big favourite smashing machine film lover from Down Under, Ben, and I'm reviewing a film I was interested in back when it was announced, being a big Safdie Brothers fan. Now, if you're not familiar, the Safdie Brothers have done films like Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler, Good Time with Robert Pattinson, and this year they're both kind of split up. They obviously co-directed these films similar to the Coen brothers and now have kind of gone their individual ways. Whether that's for good, I'm not sure, but you've got Benny Safdie, who wrote and directed this film, The Smashing Machine, and you've got Josh Safdie doing the Marty Supreme with Timothy Chalamet coming out later this year. Now, this film is obviously starring Dwayne Johnson. When I say obviously, probably an odd thing to say because it doesn't look anything like him. And Emily Blunt in the film as well. You've also got Ryan Bader, who plays Mark Coleman. You've got a lot of kind of UFC fighters playing roles that they've never acted before. But the film is a true story about Mark Kerr, which is a UFC champion, one of the mixed martial arts UFC champion, who kind of was one of the first, in its sort of early days to really pave the way for what it is now. And obviously, true story. I was interested in it, being that it is kind of Dwayne Johnson going into a really, really serious role. And I think there's good things about this film. To blatantly put it out there, I think it's a decent film. I think it's really lacking a few things which I'll get into, but to touch on obviously the main thing, it's Benny Safdie obviously is an exceptional director. It's visual aesthetic, the visual look. It's got that real, obviously it's set in the 90s. It's got that real grungy, beautiful 90s look, and it looks great. And to top that off, you've got some really frenetic energy in terms of its editing, and Dwayne Johnson is fantastic in this. Emily Blunt's also incredible, which she usually always is, but overall, in terms of the performance, which I think most people would talk about, I think it is great seeing Dwayne Johnson do something like this. I wish he committed that little bit further. He is great. There are a few really, really hard hitting scenes where they ask a lot of him in the sense that there might be crying scenes, and it's scenes where you'll see him cover his eyes and things like that. But what I would have loved to see to connect more is the face, which is not disappointing, but that's just, I just wish he really, really sent it in those scenes. But the actual story obviously deals with a specific period in his life, where he's dealing with opioid addiction and overcoming that, and travels to essentially Japan to fight in their Pride Championships. And I think overall the film really started at an odd point for me. If I could say it's like anything, I feel like it's this year's King Richard, where it doesn't really do anything unconventional in this, but obviously King Richard's more about the whole life, whereas this is like the whole life leading up to when they become pro. Obviously, as tennis, the Williams sisters, but this film's just set in a specific period. But the weak point for me is just, to be honest, the writing. It really didn't highlight the struggles of the opioid addiction and what he's actually going through. What Dwayne Johnson's character Mark Kerr's going through. It didn't quite perfectly highlight that for me, and overall, it just didn't probably allow me to connect with these characters because it's kind of just in the middle of their lives. You get no backstory, you get nothing in terms of that. So it's really just almost, I've heard it's actually a like for like remake almost of the documentary of the same name called The Smashing Machine. So I have made it a mission to try and find that and watch it, and I will watch it because I do find this story really quite interesting, but it just felt very, very basic in that sense, where it was just kind of, it almost looked like a fly on the wall where you're watching these situations unfold. It didn't allow you to really care or connect and want these characters to win or grow. It kind of was just like you're just watching it unfold, which is really disappointing, as I do like the Safdie brothers. I feel like it's just the writing that's a weakness here, but I'm interested to see obviously what Benny does next, and obviously what The Rock does next, or Dwayne Johnson, which is funny because he's went to this, A24 biopic, and then his next film's going to be a live action Moana 2. But you give and you get, but love to see what he does next. I really want him to venture into these roles more often. But if you have seen it, comment below, let me know what you think of the movie. If you like the review, give it a like, follow some more, and we'll catch you next time.